The history of timekeeping. Nature's rhythms have always given us a sense of time. According to archaeological evidence, the Babylonians and Egyptians began to measure time at least 5,000 years ago. They introduced calendars to organize and coordinate communal activities and public events, to schedule the shipment of goods, and in particular, to regulate cycles of planting and harvesting. They based their calendars on 3 natural cycles: the solar day, marked by periods of light and darkness, the lunar month, following the phases of the moon, and the solar year, defined by the changing seasons. The Egyptians formulated a civil calendar having 12 months of 30 days, with 5 days added to approximate the solar year. The Greeks divided the year into 12 parts that we call months. They divided each month into 30 parts that we call days. Their year had a total of 360 days. The Egyptians and Babylonians decided to divide the day from sunrise to sunset into 12 parts that we call hours. They also divided the night, the time from sunset to sunrise, into 12 hours. But the day and the night are not the same length, and the length of the day and night also changes throughout the year. Inventors created sundials, which indicate time by the length or direction of the sun's shadow, to track temporal hours during the day. The sundial's nocturnal counterpart, the water clock, was designed to measure temporal hours at night. A water clock was a bowl with a very small hole filled with water. The water disappeared slowly through the hole. The time could be measured by the level of water left in the bowl. Marks on the inside of the bowl provide the hours. The idea of dividing the hour and minute into 60 parts comes from the Sumerian system, which is based on the number 60. Minutes and seconds, however, were not used for everyday timekeeping for several centuries. Mechanical clocks first appeared in Europe during the late 14th century, but only had one hand. With the invention of the mainspring in the 15th century, clocks were able to go portable for the first time. They would gradually reduce in size until pocket watches first began to appear in the 17th century. The next timepiece to be invented was the pendulum clock. It used a pendulum, a swinging weight, as a timekeeping element. From its invention in 1656 by Christiaan Huygens until the 1930s, the pendulum clock was the world's most precise timekeeper. As technology progressed, the need for higher resolution timing increased. Pendulum clocks were gradually overtaken by quartz clocks. The first quartz clock was built in 1927 by Warren Morrison and Joseph Horton at the then Bell Telephone Laboratories in the United States. In these devices, an electric current causes a quartz crystal to resonate at a specific frequency that is far higher than a pendulum's oscillations. Microelectronics began to appear in the 1960s and were first used in laboratories. These made quartz clocks more compact and much cheaper to manufacture and produce. By the 1980s, they became the world's dominant timekeeping technology in both clocks and wristwatches. Atomic clocks are clocks that track the resonances of atom frequencies, usually the atoms of cesium or rubidium. They are far more accurate than any previous timekeeping device and are used to calibrate other clocks and to calculate the International Atomic Time, a standardized civil system. Coordinated universal time is based on atomic time.